Recording in progress.
Welcome in to the first Champions League episode of the season on Betting the Pitch. I'm your host, the real_G Warner. It is late night with the real_G Warner. We'll see how many yawns come out in this episode. We're 3-0 off to a 3-0 start. Our best bets hit like 68% last year, almost a very nice 69%. But trying to go to outdo that record somehow, and we'll see how that goes. Thank you for all of you that are joining. If you're live, I appreciate that, of course. So it's very late after the Monday Night Football 10 p.m. Eastern Time edition wrapped up here in the United States. But if you're watching afterwards on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, please leave a 5-star review. It's huge for the search rankings. And if you are, I guess, on YouTube at the real_G Warner, hit subscribe. Trying to build that number up to 1,000. We've got a long way to go. And of course, if you want reels for, the Guillotine League that I'm in fantasy football, I have to cut one of those up for tomorrow. But as we've had another elimination this week in week 2. But really, if you want actual game picks and such from the Bet in the Pitch NFL podcast with the _Schnicker, that is out there, and that will be really a Sunday thing, I suspect, moving forward, plus all these ultimate best bets from the soccer shows. But hopefully I give people enough time to get in here, and I'm going to pull up the lines right now because it is time to get right in here. And let's do it. So using all lines courtesy of BetOnline, and here we go. I'll start with the 11:45 Central matches, so 12:45 Eastern Time. Athletic Club Bilbao, 3/4 goal underdogs right now to Arsenal. Athletic Club coming from Spain, or from Basque Country. Arsenal coming from London in the English Premier League. Total on this one is 2.25. Juiced pretty heavily to over here, but not too expensive. The big, I think, interest for me in this one is Athletic Club because they have a great crowd behind them. San Mamés is a really tough place to go into. And as this number has climbed from 1/2 goal to 3/4, Arsenal's going to have to win this match by multiple goals now to take your full unit. And I think that's a tough ask for them, ultimately. Going to a tough place to play. Yes, Arsenal are a bigger squad value and such, but Athletic Club have some really talented players, and we'll see what that lineup looks like. I'm wondering with Nico Williams, Iñaki, and all this sort of the pace that they have in that team. I think it's all very valuable. I think I'm more interested in the 3/4 goal underdog as opposed to under 2.25. I lean that way. Athletic Club wants to play a conservative counterattacking style against the bigger clubs in Spain usually. Now they're in the Champions League, which is going to be a big step up for them in class, but I think they can make that happen. And I think they're too big of an underdog right now. To the other match played simultaneously to open up Champions League on Tuesday, September 16th, the year of our Lord 2025. That is PSV Eindhoven in the Netherlands. They are hosting Union Saint-Gilloise from nearby Belgium. Currently, PSV 1/2 goal favorites right now, a little bit more juice. Total is 3, juiced all the way to under. Union Saint-Gilloise, they are a Belgian side that from Brussels, I believe, and they have really put some great players out across Europe. But the problem when you're selling club is it's hard to maintain all that talent and such. So keeping that is, I think, the biggest question. We'll see how that looks like this season. For now, I think I want to see Union Saint-Gilloise. Also, I think a new Champions League entrant. I want to see how they perform before I back them. Going to Holland is a really tough ask for almost anyone. I think biggest interest for me right now is under 3 goals, but it's not very strong at the moment. Now to the big slate of games. And by the way, I'll be putting out a Tuesday favorite, Wednesday and Thursday for the ultimate best bet coming end of show. So stick around for that or check it out at the real_G Warner on YouTube and the real_G Warner on Instagram. So for the 2 p.m. Central Time window, 3 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. I think across most of Europe, but time zones are very challenging for a lot of people, including myself. We'll start with Benfica, 2-goal favorites to Karabag. Total is 3 on this one, juiced very heavily to over and very heavily on the Karabag side. So Benfica in the past they've got a great academy, have tons of talent, have sold a lot of it, and we'll see what that kind of looks, how they look, I guess, now, because I feel like they haven't been as strong as they have been in years. Last season, they were scoring a ton of goals, had that big back and forth with Barcelona in Champions League. They ended up losing from incredible leading positions. But in the past, they've been a defensive side to me. Changed manager a million times. Whenever they're not far ahead, leading La Liga Portugal, it's very likely that their manager's getting sacked. But Qarabağ are from a much different. I mean, they're going to be. I can't imagine that Qarabağ's been in Champions League before, so this is going to be a big test for them. But they've been hanging around the European competitions for a while. I believe they're the best club in Azerbaijan. Let's see, Qarabağ FC or FK. They're currently 7th in the Azerbaijan Premier League. So that doesn't say much, but quick start for them this season or something. Or maybe they're getting some time off, actually, probably preparing for Champions League, as a lot of the lower tier leagues do that. The 2 goals is gigantic. I guess foreshadowing for the rest of this episode, not a lot of teams, even the Bayern Munchen side that I'm wearing, but I guess because they're playing a better squad like Chelsea. I mean, there's not a lot of huge spreads here, which is a bit surprising because they were definitely more gigantic in years past. But I think the Benfica side is one I'd like to be against. I don't know that they're as strong as some of the lines they get in Champions League are, if that makes sense, or at least when they're a favorite, I feel like sometimes it's far too big. With that said, how could I be sure that Qarabağ are going to compete at this level? I don't know. And usually if I want to play 2-goal underdog on the road, I'd certainly want to look towards under. You get an extra goal from it, and might even be more than that before kickoff. A lot of juice on the +2 right now, a lot of juice on the over 3, but I don't know if I'm backing Qarabağ that I want them to score, so or to trust them to score. So I think I'd probably lean under more than I'd lean to Qarabağ, and that's really betting against Benfica side that's been scoring a lot of goals and had a lot of goals in their European performances lately. I don't know. Doesn't really set up very well. More I talk it out, which is part of why I do these podcasts, and hopefully that is valuable to some of you. Feel free to leave that in the comments or hit me up at the _G Warner across any social media platform, and I'm very happy to learn a little bit about what makes you enjoy or listen or all that sort of stuff on the various episodes, various platforms, et cetera, et cetera. Move next to Juventus hosting Borussia Dortmund. Currently, Juventus a 0.5 goal favorite right now. More juice on Borussia Dortmund away. Totals 2.5, juice all the way to over. So Juve with an incredible all goal scoring display against Inter Milan. Led the game, fell behind, led the game, and finished right at the end. There's been some high-scoring Inter-Juve matches recently, which is not expected for Italian soccer or really what those teams have been, and it's been surprising. I don't know that I'm fully buying into that, but Dortmund are not a great defense, haven't been for years. They are a very young club that has a lot of big talent, and I think they're very overrated on a lot of these type of, specifically in the Bundesliga, they have been for years, but in Champions League, they had that crazy run to the final and honestly should have beaten Real Madrid, in my humble opinion. I thought they outplayed them. That was a couple seasons ago, many managers ago. So at this point, it's really hard to know what Dortmund are at every point because they've brought in a lot of talent as they do every season, but a lot of the whole players have been held over from a very bad season last year. Amazing that they found a way into Champions League, but the Bundesliga kind of fell apart around them down the stretch, or Dortmund got really hot at the end. Juve, though, they've brought in a lot of talent. They've spent a lot more money than I think a lot of people expected. But they've got a lot of questions, too. So I think I'm interested in the underdog here getting 0.5 goal. I don't know that I want to have anything to do with unders here because Dortmund's defense, it's been better in continental play. It's much worse in the Bundesliga because they try to win every match. And here they're a lot more pragmatic, or at least they have been as a club. Don't know that it's really been a manager-specific thing, but I think Niko Kovac is a good manager, is capable. Really liked him, backing him in other jobs previously, but they haven't worked out for him for long term. Juve on their side, I feel like they were a lot of set pieces and outside the box goals they conceded to Inter, and they kept looking at themselves like, oh, Inter's so lucky. But to me, it felt like Juve were kind of the victims, or were playing the victim card when they were responsible for a lot of the activity. So I think I'm interested to watch this one because I don't know that there's enough here for me to play anything on that one. We'll next move to Real Madrid hosting Marseille. Currently, Real Madrid a 1.5 favorite to a long time coming. Marseille trying to get into Champions League. Finally, they have. They even crashed out of the Champions League playoff round last year, the year before that. Total in this one's 3.25, just more to the under. But I think I'm more interested in Marseille's side because I think they can score goals. It's a little bit scary to back anyone to go to the Bernabeu and score. And so therefore probably under 3.25 makes me interested for sure. But after watching the Mallorca match, I feel like the ESPN local, they have the rights here in the US. If you're listening in another country, there were some questions about Xavi Alonso and his desire to press at all times. Bayer Leverkusen did it because they had never won anything. They had all these kind of underknown players that were trying to get names for themselves. Real Madrid are the prima donnas, and good luck trying to get Kylian Mbappe to do anything defensively, unless it's for France. For some reason, there's some difference there. And certainly not from Didier Deschamps, I don't think. But I think there's going to be some problems for Real Madrid. Part of why I took Barcelona to win La Liga entering the season. Felt like they shouldn't be underdogs, especially after dominating Real Madrid last year. Yeah, you could blame Carlo Ancelotti, but I don't think it was his fault. I also think Xavi Alonso is not as strong of a manager as the rest of the world thinks. And I'm prepared to bet that way. And I think it's worked out pretty well. Leverkusen, even in their undefeated season until they lost to Atalanta in the Europa League final, they were, I think, very great to bet against with their forever Leverkusen stoppage time goals and such that won the matches but didn't cover spreads. I think Marseille are going to come in and they're going to bring, I expect, a huge crowd. Marseille are nuts about their football. I really want to go to that stadium someday. And I think they're a pretty good value here. Losing by a single goal still cashes full unit for you. That's a little juice at the moment. I think Marseille getting a goal and a half is of great interest to me. I'll lean to under 3.25. I feel like if I'm playing Marseille at such a big price, I probably would split, or I'll probably play both and hope for a split, or really ideally hope for Marseille to win or something like that and be low scoring. I don't want to cheapen the Marseille bet by playing that under, but I do think that if Real Madrid wins 2-0, that is a nice way to protect myself. Derivatives of similar bets, because though I'm not necessarily betting against Real Madrid offense, I feel like that's been capable. I do think they have too many players that are going to be really unhappy. Vinny Jr., Rodrigo, Kylian Mbappe already mentioned. And I'm not sure how that's going to work. I think their defense is better, but we'll see how healthy and fit Danny Carvajal is. Trent Alexander-Arnold is not a defender, so but they've been playing Lucas Vazquez there for a while. I've been spending a million minutes on this matchup, so I probably should move to the next, but I lean to Marseille and to under 3.25. The last one on Tuesday, we have Tottenham half a goal favorites to Villarreal. Juices split. Totals 2.75. Juice more to the over. Tottenham, I think the jury is far out on them. Could start the season, played competitively against PSG in a friendly Supercopa de UEFA or whatever it was, UEFA Super Cup. Villarreal on their side, I think they played very well, especially away from home last season in Spanish La Liga, which is not saying everything because it's a much weaker crew than, of course, what's in Champions League. But I think there's a lot of talent in Villarreal. They've sold some of it. Jeremy Pino, I just saw recently gone. Alex Baena gone. We'll see about the health of Gerard Moreno. A lot of those questions to see kind of who's available. But I do like their manager. I think that Tottenham, to me, especially after winning Europa League in a horrible Premier League season, or fortunate to get to Champions League, and I don't think they really deserved it. And I think we're going to see exactly what they've grown into in this season. But Villarreal getting half of a goal, I'm interested in. I think I lean to under 2.75 as well, but I don't know if I feel that strongly. For my best bet on Tuesday in Champions League Matchday 1, I'm going to go with Olympique de Marseille, goal and a half underdogs at Real Madrid. Now I'll move to Wednesday. Olympiacos, they are hosting Paphos, I believe from Cyprus. Olympiacos from Greece, you could argue they're basically the same, but one launders money a little bit better. But probably not. Probably true. Anyway, Olympiacos, goal and a quarter under. Olympiacos, goal and a quarter favorites to Paphos. Totals 2.5, juice pretty heavily to over. Olympiacos were getting a lot of respect last year, I think, in the Europa League, have been in years past. And I think that they are going to really struggle in Champions League. But I really struggle to know how to value Paphos at this point. So I think it's going to be wait and see how they do. I'll lean to the Paphos getting a goal and a quarter and to under 2.5. But Olympiacos were a goal-scoring team despite Jose Luis Mendilibar being there before. And I don't know necessarily. He's still around somehow. So we'll see what he does. But I think I need to watch that one. Moving next to Slavia Prague hosting Bodo Glimt. And what should be a pretty interesting matchup, I think, for Slavia as the bigger club here, even though Czechia side or in Prague, not exactly gigantic. They travel really well. I saw them play in Rome a couple seasons ago in Europa League. But Bodo Glimt are, I think, better than most think. And Bodø/Glimt getting 3/4 of the goal is of great interest to me. I like that. I lean to under 3, though. Bodø/Glimt are really a goal-scoring team from what I know about them. And I'm curious to see kind of what they do in Champions League, especially in debut. Like a lot of my if you ever listen to the baseball podcast on pregame.com, or it used to be on the Bet and Pitch podcast channel until A. Brooks Betts decided he was out, didn't want to do it anymore. He just wants to win fantasy baseball leagues. Congratulations to you. But I really like to bet against debutantes, rookies, especially pitchers. And that definitely goes against the grain with Bodø/Glimt and me liking them here. But I like that 3/4 of the goal. And I think Slavia Prague, I want to see them score some goals to really trust them in this matchup. Move next to Ajax hosting Inter Milan. Currently Ajax 3/4 goal underdogs with all the juice. Totals 2 3/4, juiced almost all the way to over. Inter are off to a bad start. Can't say it any other way. I do still think they're great, and I think their run to the Champions League final last year was deserved. Yeah, they had a big comeback against Barcelona late in the semifinal, if I remember correctly, but someone's got to score those goals, and they were outplaying a team that was far better than them. And I think Inter are deep, and I think the age is a problem potentially at some point, maybe later in the season. I don't think it's yet. Ajax on their side, they're going to have a great home crowd. We know that from the Eredivisie. Any Holland side, any Dutch side is going to have a great crowd. Inter are going to send a bunch of fans too. And I think we're going to see the style that Inter want to play under the new manager. And that's going to be something I'm very interested to watch this season, especially as I have some interest in Inter in a Champions League pool. I'll lean to Ajax, though, as a big home underdog, 3/4 of goal right now. Would love to get one. I don't think we will. And I'll lean to the under 2 3/4, which could get to 3. I think I like the side better, though, because Inter have not been defending great. Conceded twice in a loss to someone in Serie A, conceded 4 times to Juventus. And they need to figure some things out. And I think that's a new manager, maybe getting off to a bad start type of thing. Bayern München then hosts Chelsea. Currently Bayern 3/4 goal favorites with all the juice, as I wear their, it's like a practice shirt. I think I bought it in the team store, whatever. It was fairly cheap, actually. Total is 3, just all the way to over. Chelsea are a huge underdog considering what they've done, the Club World Cup champions, the amount of money they spend on their side versus Bayern München. Certainly Bayern have had better success, but it's a pretty big price. I mean, Inter went in there, were a half a goal underdog and knocked them out last season. Chelsea at 3/4 of a goal on a much bigger budget. I lean that way. And I don't play unders with Bayern at home. So probably one I'll skip, but something I'm interested in now. Liverpool then hosts Atletico Madrid. Currently, Liverpool a 1-goal favorite. All the juice on Atleti away. Total is 2 3/4. This one juice all the way to over. So Liverpool, I thought they're really fortunate to win the Premier League last season. I'm not really as much of a believer in them, but I've been betting against Atleti every chance I've had. I don't trust Atletico Madrid at all. I think I trust them to play the Diego Simeone style, to try to defend with all they have, more so than to go out and score until they're behind, which if they do fall behind, then that brings up some questions. But I think they can defend fairly well. So I think my bigger interest, I like the full goal of insurance as I do on any big club that's traveling, because that doesn't happen very often. But I think under 2 3/4 is my biggest interest, especially if that gets to 3. And to the nightcap, PSG, or I guess the last matchup of the same nightcap window, 3 p.m. Eastern time here in the United States. PSG, 1 1/4 goal favorite right now at home to Atalanta. Total is 3, just all the way to under, and a lot of juice on the Atalanta side. So PSG, I mean, whatever they do in the Liga in France is almost irrelevant because they don't care. They want to win. They won Champions League last year. They want to win again. They don't really care about winning the league because they will. Coupe de France, we'll see. Depends how much they care about that, which is less. But Atalanta, I mean, they lost their manager Gasperini to Roma. That was a huge loss for them, and I don't really trust what they're going to become. We need to see it. We haven't. For that reason, I want nothing to do with this matchup. I think they could go to PSG and get waxed. Unfortunately, PSG can kill anybody. They did it to Inter on a neutral in the Champions League final last year, much to my chagrin. And I don't want to be taught a lesson like that for a very, very long time. So I'll go my best bet. Probably more interested when this hits 3, but I'll go Atletico Madrid, Liverpool, under 2 3/4 goals. Search for some 3s out there because it's very juiced right now. Probably a juice 3. So I'll give that out. Atletico Madrid, under 3 at Liverpool. Now to Thursday, Club Brugge. They host Monaco in the early window. Bruges, a pick 'em. Almost all the juice on Monaco right now away. Total is 3, juice all the way to under. Now, Monaco are a goal-scoring team. They're used to playing on the road because they don't have much of a crowd fan base. Bruges, I thought it were really talented, had an incredible run a few seasons ago in Champions League, and have been pretty talented and have been spending more than you'd expect from a Belgian side. I lean their way because they're at home and they should have a decent crowd behind them, but I think I want to get a quarter goal of insurance at the very least, so I'll wait for that. But I'll lean to Bruges at Pick'em right now. I don't really want to play unders with Monaco. Copenhagen then hosts Bayer Leverkusen. Copenhagen quarter goal underdogs right now. Just split both ways in this one. Totals 2 3/4, just more to the under. Copenhagen are having a great crowd. We know that. Leverkusen, I think, are a team I want to fade and be against as much as I can. So for that reason, give me FCK, as they say, or hashtag FCK live. Lean to that quarter of a goal. I want to be against Ten Hag. I don't really trust his anything. He was decent at Ajax, but his Manchester United ways were hilarious, and I'm kind of missing those because I'd love betting against them. But I think Leverkusen are going to have a really rough season. So Copenhagen, quarter goal underdog. Move next to Eintracht Frankfurt hosting Galatasaray. Currently, Frankfurt a quarter goal favorite at home with all the juice. Total is 3 1/4, juice all the way to under. Turkish Giants, Galatasaray, Turkish teams, really hard to trust. And they're pretty small underdog on the road at Eintracht Frankfurt. I'd love to see Frankfurt to pick them. Juice is not there, and it's going the other direction, so it's probably not going to happen. I think I'll wait and watch this one. Manchester City then hosts Napoli. Currently, City a 3/4 goal favorite at home with all the juice. Total is 2 3/4. Juice to split both ways. Napoli off to a good start. We're very fortunate to get past Cagliari. Took an early penalty. Got an early penalty, excuse me. Scored against Fiorentina this weekend. I'm not a believer in Napoli necessarily, but they have done a lot to their squad. They've spent a ton of money that I didn't expect they would ever do. But I guess Champions League money does certainly help. Manchester City, I mean, after how bad they were last season, unfortunately, that Tottenham loss earlier this year didn't make a lot of sense based on how I thought they were going to bounce back. I'm pretty interested in Napoli at this point. Napoli 3/4 of a goal underdog. Don't think I want anything to do with the under, even though Conte match always makes me want to play under. Pep Guardiola matches do not. Newcastle then hosts Barcelona. Currently, Newcastle quarter goal underdogs right now. Juices a little bit more on the Newcastle side. Totals 3 1/4, juiced all the way to under. And this is going to be a great battle between who's got the money here, because English Premier League slides always get bet a ton, as do Barcelona. So we'll see. Barca, they're going to have a rough match here. Newcastle's going to go nuts. The crowd's going to be great. And I think a road favorite here is pretty dangerous. I would certainly not advocate betting Barcelona here, so I'll put Newcastle on my list, the underdog of a quarter of a goal. I think they can certainly win at home. Definitely could draw. Barcelona can win, of course. They're one of the best clubs in the world, biggest out there, potentially. I think it's going to be a rough. Going to St. James Park is not for the faint of heart. Last but not least, Sporting Lisboa, 2.5 goal favorite with all the juice to Kairat Almaty. Total is 3.5, and it's juice more to the over. I don't trust Sporting Lisboa ever since Ruben Amorim left. I don't know that I trust Kairat Almaty enough, especially at 2.5 goal underdogs, biggest number by far that I've read so far. So I'll lean that way to Kairat, but I don't know that will much do with it. If Sporting Lisboa can't get that win, I don't know what win they're going to get. And that does it for this first episode of the Champions League Matchday 1. Of course, it's Matchday 1. Thank you for those of you that are live with me. If you want to throw a comment in here, I'll be here for a few more seconds trying to think of what to plug. Appreciate it, especially late night, and hope that you all follow through and listen to the much prettier background that I'll be talking on once I get this all uploaded and such like that. But thanks for all of you coming in. And I think I guess, since I don't see anything coming in here, let's go in and it's time for the ultimate best bet. So what I'm going to do, I'll cut a reel with my floating head somewhere with some footage in the background, maybe for my Champions League exploits or potentially not, based on the possibilities of this best bet. But I do think that there's some value on this card, and here we go. It's time for the ultimate best bet. Before I get in there, if you're not a member of my Patreon, patreon.com/real_G-Warner, best way to get all my plays across all sports. Had the Bucks tonight. That was another heartbreaker that should have never been. And then finally, Baker Mayfield pulled one out. Thank you, Baker. Hated you for a long time, or disliked you, detested you forever when you were at OU, but you made a lot of money in Tampa, so I appreciate that. And of course, Major League Baseball plays and things out there. Long season there, but looking forward to the playoffs and such, and can't wait for the Brewers to finally clinch the NL Central for the Brewers podcast, which will be out with Major League Baseball on pregame.com tomorrow with Munaf, and we'll have NFL on this channel as well with A_Schnicker. And then, of course, more soccer stuff coming up for this weekend, and then Europa League next week, et cetera, et cetera. From Tuesday, for my favorite best bet, as already said, instead of going and rewinding, I liked Olympique de Marseille, a 1.5 goal underdog on the road at Real Madrid. On Wednesday, I like Liverpool, Atletico Madrid under 3 goals. And on Thursday, I like Newcastle, quarter goal underdogs. They are at home to a very famous club named Barcelona. But for the ultimate best bet in this episode, I'm going the black and white stripes, the Zebras of Northern England. I'm going Newcastle, quarter goal underdogs at home to Barcelona. And that'll come out on some Instagram reel at the _G Warner on YouTube or on Instagram, I guess the other option. And look forward to hearing more from you all on the episodes coming forward, and hope to do some interacting and all those sort of things. Feel free to throw some comments in. I'll try to do this much earlier, but there won't be a 10 p.m. Eastern time Monday Night Football game in the future on Monday. Have a great night. Sleep well. If you're awake already in Europe, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. Enjoy your pastéis, and we'll talk soon.
Recording stopped.
Ooh, thank you, Anderson Hernandez. Thank you for showing up. Appreciate that as always.